first story was posted 2 months ago by a Reddit user named Gaticus. We have a 100-acre property with a family hunting cabin off-grid right in the middle of the property and next to a river. No neighbors, and the road to get in is only known by family. We also have a big I-beam gate we keep locked. There's an occasional black bear or coyote, but nothing crazy, not very dangerous. I'm up with one of my cousins having some beers on a weekend, playing cribbage and listening to music. We're getting ready to call it for the night at like midnight, and suddenly there's a super loud banging on the back door. Like the door and windows were visibly moving, like it was being beaten in with a battering ram, like wham, wham, wham. Then it just stops. And then it's absolutely dead quiet. No frogs or crickets anymore. Nothing. We're frozen in place staring at the back door. The music quickly turned off by my cousin. After a pause that seems like forever, the sounds of the woods start coming back slowly. We work up the courage to look out the windows, and it's just pitch black out there. Shining a flashlight, there's nothing but the woods. My cousin thought he saw the reflection of eyes, but I didn't see it. We made sure all the doors and windows were locked and stayed up in the loft until dawn, armed with only a pocket knife. Didn't sleep a wink, and when daylight came, we got the fuck out of there. The back metal door was dented where it was struck, and we had to replace that door jamb because it was starting to break. We both still have no idea what the hell happened. Second story was posted 2 years ago by a Reddit user named Vater's Gonna Vate. I was up north, far north British Columbia, Canada, working in an oil rig camp out in the woods. I was working as a cook. I went out one afternoon for a smoke on the back deck. It was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a very quiet, still winter day. It was snowing, those kinds of big snowflakes that make it look like the world is moving in slow motion. So as I was standing there smoking, just staring off in the distance, not looking at anything in particular, looking left, right, up, down at my feet, whatever, I felt something looking at me. Then I looked straight ahead. About 30 feet or less in front of me was the tree line of the forest, and directly in front of me, in between 2 trees, I saw the most gigantic wolf I have ever seen. This thing sitting looked like it was the size of a man standing. It was massive, sitting there just staring right at me. We locked eyes, then I looked away for a split second, and then looked back and it was gone. I don't know, it just gave me the weirdest feeling. It was definitely like, hey, I see you, I could eat you, but I won't. Okay, bye. Something I'll always remember. Third story was posted 2 years ago by a Reddit user named Big Association 7582. I once worked as a housing inspector. A new client purchased a house and I was tasked to go and inspect it. From the information on hand, the house was a very old home, built in 1908, almost like a cabin, and was quite derelict. I was in no hurry to inspect the house in my honest opinion, so scheduled it for my last stop of the day. I did my jobs as per normal and then made my way to the house. I parked my car on the road, and as I walked up the path, nothing extraordinary jumped out at me. It was a rundown 3-story house. For me, it was just your run-of-the-mill wreck. I guess the buyers had walked through and seen some potential in the home, but I could see none. It was getting into dusk, and as I didn't have the key for the front door, I made my way around to the rear of the property to access the rear door. As I came around the back of the house, I noticed that the back door itself opened up into a large kitchen. What caught me at that point in time was, as the sun began to set behind me, I could feel a drastic change of air temperature. It was late summer, and I assumed this was the reason for the drop in temperature. I turned to look at the sunset, noting that the cloud cover gave the sky a nice crimson hue. I turned back towards the door, and that's when I saw it. On the other side of the kitchen was a door that led into a hallway, which in turn led to the front door. The front door had colored glass, But what was standing in the darkness of the hallway to this day still makes the hair of my neck stand up. There was a silhouette of a man. Judging from the build, I could tell it was a man. There were no distinguishable features to see, just a black silhouette. What happened next froze me to the spot. Where his face was, two eyes opened, and they were the color red. Unblinking and unmoving, those eyes glowed red, and I could tell they were looking right at me. At first, I couldn't look away. Those red orbs seemed to stare straight into my soul, and I found myself transfixed, staring back. Every fiber in me told me I should run, but I couldn't move. I stared unblinking at the red eyes, and they in turn stared unblinking back at me. My eyes began to water and I blinked to clear them, but as I opened my eyes again, the silhouette was gone. I freaked. I quickly ran around the house, jumped in my car and sped home. What would normally take me 25 minutes to drive home only took me 10, as I couldn't get away fast enough. In my report, I wrote that the house had some structural issues that could not be remedied, and the house was eventually torn down. In its place is now a housing unit with 6 3-bedrooms. I've heard stories from tradesmen who have been on site at night, and all have said they felt a cold chill every time they go there. I did look up the history of the property, but nothing unusual jumped out at me. Up to that point in my life, I never believed in the supernatural or the paranormal. Even now, I'm skeptical of most things, but I know what I saw was pure evil, and I've never had an encounter like it since.